Absolutely. Here's YouTube-style article for a video about the legendary 1965 Lincoln Continental, with a strong, dramatic tone and no mention of handling or driving conditions, perfect for your channel's old as gold theme. Title: 1965 Lincoln Continental, the icon that redefined American luxury. Opening scene: a black 1965 Lincoln Continental slowly rolls into frame under golden sunlight. Smooth jazz plays in the background. Fade in on the Lincoln badge. Narrator voiceover: some cars are built to move, some cars are built to race, and then a broken bar. There are cars built to make a statement. A rolling throne, an American time capsule, a machine that whispers power, elegance, and status with every inch of chrome. This is not just a classic, this is a legend. Welcome to the 1965 Lincoln Continental, a car that redefined luxury and became a symbol of timeless prestige. Let's open the suicide doors, a broken bar, and step into history. Chapter 1: A Star is Born. The year was 1965. America was booming, the space race was on, jazz ruled the airwaves, and design was king. And in the middle of it all, Lincoln dropped the bombshell. The Continental wasn't just a car, it was a cultural reset. Sleek, sophisticated, and unapologetically bold, the A65 model took everything Lincoln had learned about prestige, a broken bar, and distilled it into steel and style. This wasn't a car you bought, this was a car you were seen in. Presidents rode in it, celebrities collected it, and the world took notice. Chapter 2: The look that stopped traffic. Let's talk about its silhouette. The 1965 Lincoln Continental wasn't sculpted like a sports car, it wasn't chiseled like a muscle car, it was drawn like architecture. Long, clean lines, flat, commanding surfaces, and a presence that stretched over 18 feet from front to rear. This was design with intent. The suicide doors, rear-hinged and effortlessly smooth, weren't just a gimmick, they were a statement. An open invitation into an executive lounge on wheels. The front grille looked like a diplomat's smiley, wide, symmetrical, and filled with confidence. Every detail was refined. Polished stainless steel trim that wrapped around the body like fine jewelry. Squared-off fender lines that made the car feel grounded and dignified. Chrome bumpers that glistened like skyscraper reflections. And those wheels, of 14-inch wide wall classics, framed in perfectly balanced wheel arches that made the car look like it was gliding, not rolling. Chapter 3: Inside the throne room. Step into the cabin, a broken bar, and you're not just entering a car, you're entering a mid-century modern masterpiece. The dashboard is a work of art, a horizontal symmetry, brushed aluminum accents, soft touch vinyl, and just enough chrome to let you know this was top-tier Detroit craftsmanship. Controls were elegant, switchgear was precise, even the climate controls looked like they belonged on a luxury jet. The Continental gave you power everything: a windows, seats, locks, antenna, push-button radio with premium sound, deep-padded bench seats, wider than most couches, rear seat legroom that rivaled modern limousines. It didn't just look like luxury, it felt like it. Every time you closed the doors with that solid thunk, you were reminded, this is not your average ride. Chapter 4: The Sound of Power. Now let's talk about what lived under the hood. The 1965 Lincoln Continental came with a massive 430 cubic inch V8, that's 7.0 liters of American steel, delivering smooth, thunderous power with a low, burbling exhaust note that sounded like royalty clearing its throat. It wasn't built to roar, it was built to rumble like distant thunder rolling through a quiet valley. Start it up, and it doesn't shout, it announces itself. This wasn't a race car, it was a statement piece, and the engine gave it the presence to match. Chapter 5: A Symbol of Power and Prestige. The 1965 Continental wasn't just admired, it was revered. This was the official car of the White House, a favorite among heads of state and business moguls. It appeared in movies, magazines, and the driveways of those who mattered. And with good reason. This wasn't just a machinea, it was a message. In an age before supercars and hypertech, the Lincoln Continental was proof that luxury could be elegant, not flashy, confident, not loud, sophisticated, not showy. It didn't need to prove anything, it already was everything. Chapter 6: The doors that made history. We can't talk about the A65 Continental without diving deeper into its most iconic feature, the rear-hinged suicide doors. At a time when other brands were playing it safe, Lincoln dared to be different. These doors weren't just about style. They were about presence. They opened wide like a tuxedo at a red carpet gala, inviting passengers into a rolling VIP lounge. Even today, when those doors swing open, heads turn, people pause, and everyone wants to know what is that? That's not nostalgia, that's respect. Chapter 7, Built to Last, Designed to be Remembered. The 1965 Continental was built like a monument. Heavy-gauge steel panels, solid welds, and interior trim that felt like it was made for a skyscraper, not a car. This was a time before plastic dashboards and cost-cutting shortcuts. Back then, craftsmanship was king. And it shows. Even 60 years later, well-kept Continentals still start strong, still shine bright, and still turn every head on the street. This car was designed not just to survive via broken bar but to outlive trends, to outclass imitators, and to earn its place in the history books. Chapter 8, The Continental Legacy. Why does the 1965 Lincoln Continental still matter today? Because it represents a golden era of American design. Because it stood for style over speed, substance over gimmicks, and presence over popularity. It wasn't about chasing trends. It was about setting standards. The A65 Continental became a blueprint for American luxury, copied, admired, but never equaled. Its DNA can still be felt in modern Lincolns, in its timeless silhouette, in its quiet confidence, in its commitment to comfort, class, and charisma. Chapter 9, Restored Glory. Today's Continental community. Today, the 1965 Continental lives and not just in museums, but in the garages of collectors, builders, and dreamers. It's become a favorite for restorers, who bring every detail back to factory perfection, lowriders, who slam it to the pavement with air suspension, luxury customizers, who blend the old soul with modern tech. You'll see them at car shows, rolling into cruise nights, or gliding through the city at sunset. And every time you see one, it feels like a scene from a movie. Chapter 10, Old is Gold. Why this Lincoln still reigns. In an age of digital screens and autonomous everything, the 1965 Lincoln Continental reminds us of what truly matters. Elegance, simplicity, design that lasts. It doesn't have to shout to get attention. It doesn't need to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It just exists, powerfully, confidently, beautifully. This car is proof that old is gold, that some legends never fade, that some icons only get better with time. And when the sun hits that polished chrome just right, a broken bar, you don't just see a car, you see an era. Final shot. The Continental parked beside a 2025 luxury car. The modern car fades away in opacity, leaving only the Lincoln is still standing strong, still turning heads. Voiceover. The year may be 2025, a broken bar, but some things never go out of style. This was the 1965 Lincoln Continental, and a broken bar is what American luxury really looks like. Fade to black. Soft jazz plays. Lincoln logo appears. Let me know if you'd like this tailored into a voice-over-friendly script, broken down by visuals or scene directions, or adapted for short-form formats like Instagram or TikTok.